Okay, so if I want to figure out which way my magnetic field is going, there are two ways to do it. If I have a wire, and say this is my wire, and I know that the current is going up the wire. Well, my first right hand rule says that I'm going to take my hand, much like I'm giving a thumbs up, and the direction that I'm going to put my thumb is the direction of the current. In this case, I said the current was going up. So I'm going to pretend like I'm grabbing onto that wire, and I can see that my fingers are coming out on this side and wrapping around this way. It's a three-dimensional magnetic field. So you might think, how am I supposed to draw that or figure it out on a two-dimensional piece of paper? Well, we do that by representing our fingers going into the page and out of the page by using an X with a circle with an X in it and a circle with a dot. Circle with an X means that the magnetic field is going into the page. A circle with a dot means that the magnetic field is coming out of the page. So let's look at an example of this. On the left, if I have a wire and the current is going up, just like I said in the last slide, well, I'm going to have my fingers wrapping around, going into the page on the right-hand side and coming out of the page on the left-hand side. Now, for the other case, I have my wire that has a current, but now it's going down instead. So I'm going to hold my wire, and I'm going to see that my fingers, my knuckles, are going into the page on the left-hand side and then coming out of the page on the right-hand side. And if we go ahead and click, we'll see our answers here. And again, on the left-hand side, I have it coming out of the page on the left-hand side and into the page on the right-hand side. So my answer, that's what I would draw. And for my wire over here, I see that is the opposite of that. I have it into the page on the left-hand side and coming out of the page on the right-hand side. The more complicated one is going to be the second right-hand rule. So we're going to do it where I have my hand just like this. Now my fingers are going to represent the direction of the magnetic field. My thumb represents the velocity of charge. And my palm, if I had like Iron Man, an energy beam coming out of my palm, that is my magnetic force. And this is going to be actually part of our homework. We're going to make something so that you don't always have to twist and turn your hand in weird ways. We're going to end up making a tool that's going to help us solve these problems a lot easier, but let's see exactly how it would work. So if I have this case, all those plus signs, those represent my magnetic field. Now think about it in this case. Those plus signs, usually it's going to be a circle with an X in it, but what does a circle with an X mean? Well, it means that my magnetic field is going into the page. A circle with an X means into the page. So if I have my magnetic field going into my screen, the velocity of my particle is going to the right, so I have to turn my hand. So my thumb is pointing in the direction of velocity. My fingers are pointing into the page. My palm is facing up. And as you can see here, my force is going up. That's what that means. Let's take a look at this problem. If I have my magnetic field going to the right and then my velocity going up, I see that my palm is actually coming into the screen. So my force is going to be going into the screen. And that's how I would draw my answer into this problem. Here I have the magnetic field coming out of the page and then my velocity going to the left. And again, this is weird because I have to turn my hand in really strange positions, but if I do so, the force is going up. And that is my answer for that problem. So go through the second and first assignments, make sure you understand those, rewatch this video. I've also uploaded the PowerPoint so you can go through and take notes that way. If you have questions, I encourage you to you can email me, but an even better way of making sure that we have time to talk about it is to come into my Google Meets every day. Make sure you check your checklist and see what time that is every day. All of this is going to be due next Wednesday, so make sure that you ask your questions before now and then.